This is Daily Armenia, CivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia today. Former International Criminal Court prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo believes there is a conflict of interest that invalidates the recent United Nations decision declaring that the detention of former Nagorno-Karabakh State Minister Ruben Vardanyan in Azerbaijan was not arbitrary. The Free Armenian Hostages Initiative reported this in a press release today. In his expert opinion, Ocampo argued that one of the UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention members, Nhyութի, has financial and personal ties to Azerbaijan that should have disqualified her from taking part in the case. These are gross contraventions of UN rules, Ocampo said. According to the report, Nhyութi's professional, financial, and family ties with Azerbaijan have compromised her impartiality. Someone with close ties to the ruling authorities in Baku should not have sat in judgment in any case relating to the ethnic Armenian people from Nagorno-Karabakh. The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention ruled in February that Vardanyan's imprisonment in Baku was not arbitrary, contradicting earlier remarks by UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, who in March called for the immediate release of all those arbitrarily detained in Azerbaijan, including Armenians. Ocampo's report said that Nhyութi, who was appointed to the working group in October 2022, is a partner at a law firm that represents Azerbaijan's state oil company, SOKAR, in Ukraine. It also noted that her husband, Georgy Lukvinsky, whose father is from Azerbaijan, has political ties with high-ranking Azerbaijani officials. The report further suggested that Nhyութi may have concealed her conflict of interest by using alternate spellings of her first name in public records. Lawyers representing Ruben Vardanyan are considering requesting a revision of the UNWGAD decision or filing a new petition demanding her recusal. Ruben Vardanyan has been detained in Azerbaijan since the fall of Nagorno-Karabakh in 2023, along with 22 other Armenians, including former Artsakh officials, prisoners of war from the 2020 conflict, and several civilians. Their families have reported that some detainees suffer from health issues and that there have been suicide attempts among them. Sex-selective abortions continue to pose a serious and concerning challenge for Armenian society, the country's ombudsperson Anahit Manasyan said yesterday. The causes are diverse, ranging from gender-based stereotypes and a preference for male children to pressures within families and communities. We must understand that many people around us face this issue, and it has a deep and painful impact on their lives. We must combat sex-selective abortions and raise public awareness, Manasyan said, explaining that this is a human rights issue. Abortion is legal in Armenia up to the 12th week of pregnancy. Later abortions are permitted only with a doctor's approval and for medical reasons or certain social circumstances, such as the death of the father or pregnancy resulting from rape. While sex-selective abortions have been outlawed since 2016, enforcement remains lenient and the practice persists, mainly in rural areas. In 2022, Armenia's gender imbalance stood at 111.9 boys per 100 girls. This is an improvement from around 120 boys per 100 girls in the year 2000, but still significantly higher than the natural global ratio of 105 to 100. According to the latest available statistics, 7,102 abortions were performed in Armenia in 2023, though it is difficult to determine how many of these were sex-selective. Last year, CivilNet featured a photo story about a family that defied sex-selective abortion norms, raising 9 daughters and 1 son. The story highlighted how individual families can challenge societal pressures and support gender equality. Follow the link below to view the story. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 156. This is because renowned Armenian composer and musicologist Komitas was born 156 years ago today in western Armenia. Educated in Achmiadzin near Yerevan, he initially studied to become a priest, but after completing his religious studies, he left for Germany to pursue his passion for music. Komitas then went on to collect and transcribe thousands of Armenian and Kurdish folk songs, while also establishing the Armenian national musical tradition as a composer. After narrowly escaping the horrors of the Armenian genocide in 1915, the traumatic events he witnessed left him mentally scarred, and he spent the last 20 years of his life in a psychiatric ward in Paris before dying in 1935. Komitas remains one of the most celebrated Armenians ever lived and has a major avenue named after him in Yerevan, along with a private cemetery where he and numerous Armenian writers, poets, composers, and artists are buried. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.